One device that I've been very excited to get my hands on is the new Morningstar MC8 Pro MIDI controller from my really good friends over at Morningstar. They were kind enough to send one of these over, and I wanted to take you on a little tour of it today and show you how well it can integrate with a ToneX pedal. Now, obviously, ToneX pedal is not the only thing it integrates with. This can do just about anything. Their editor is second to none. We can customize this in ways that are just mind-blowing, actually, and control just about any device because of the incredible connectivity, which we'll talk about, and the programmability of the pedal. So I want to dive in, take you on a little bit of a tour of what we can do when we do pair this up with the ToneX pedal, and we'll listen to some tones from the ToneX pedal, switching with the MC8 Pro. So let's just take a look at what we have here with the MC8 Pro. Well, we have 8 foot switches, which is 2 more, obviously, than the previous MC6 Pro. So if we want a little bit more flexibility without having to page around, this is the way to go with it. It is obviously going to take up a little bit more of a footprint on our pedal board. The other thing is these foot switches are programmable to be able to double tap, long press, and many other configurations, so we can get more than one use out of a foot switch, which is really, really handy. The screens on the MC8 Pro are absolutely spectacular. They look amazing. I don't know if that comes through as much on camera, but they really do look incredible. Even when we change angles on them, the view stays very, very nice. So let's take a look at the back panel and see what kind of connectivity we have with this. Okay, so what we can see here is we have our normal MIDI inputs. We have an AC adapter input. We also have 2 USB-Cs here as well. We have 4 Omni ports, and I'm going to show how I'm going to use one of those later in the video to hook up my expression pedal to control ToneX pedal. We have 2 1/4-inch relay ports on the back as well. And you can always go to the Morningstar website to take a look at their manual to get a lowdown on the possibilities of what we can do with all of these connections. The Morningstar folks do a really great job at putting videos out that explain these things really well. Also up here on one end of the MC8 Pro, we have TRS MIDI ins and outs as well. So connectivity is not an issue with this pedal. We're going to be able to basically hook it up in so many situations that we'll likely never run into a situation that it can't handle. All right, so here we are over with the Morningstar MC8 Pro. I have it hooked in a very interesting manner, and this is one of the coolest features of the MC8 Pro is it has Bluetooth MIDI built into it. So with my ToneX pedal here that's just off screen, you can't see it, it's just over here. I actually have that hooked up with a WIDI wireless MIDI adapter. So it's receiving MIDI from the MC8 Pro wirelessly, which is extremely cool. The only wire that you see in the MC8 Pro is actually my expression pedal, which I have on the floor here going into one of the Omni ports in here. And I'm going to show you how I have this all set up in a minute. So basically what I've done here is wirelessly connected this to ToneX pedal. I have my expression pedal in here, and you just have a USB in on the MC8 Pro right now, just powering it from being plugged into my computer. So today I have set up my ToneX pedal with 4 tones of different gain levels from my just released and absolutely incredible tone model collection based off of my actual vintage 1965 Fender Deluxe Reverb, which is all original. Sounds really killer. Just a beautiful tone out of this amp. So really nice stuff. So let's explain what we've done here. I've set up 4 presets down here on the bottom row of the 8 switches on the MC8 Pro. First one is going to be a clean tone. You'll notice that I've set this up in a really interesting way visually so that I have a strip down here that lights up when it's on this particular preset. When I move to this preset, that light dulls or dims and it lights up here. So I always know which of these are active, and I've also programmed it. So it not only gives me the bank and what the bank name is, which I've called ToneX, but it tells me which preset I'm on up here as well. So clean, push 1, push 2, overdrive with delay. Beautiful stuff. So it works really nicely. So I can switch between those. Now I can also come up here and I've programmed the top row of switches for different functions. Basically, I can turn my delay on and off on any preset. You'll also notice that if I go to the fourth preset where the delay is already on, it activates over here. This is all customization I've done with programming from the editor. And if you want me to do a video diving a little more into that with the editor and how we can program these things, I'm happy to do that as well. I have done videos like that in the past, utilizing the MC8 Pro and past Morningstar MIDI controller. So I also set it up to have the modulation effect come in. But I can have that switch off. I have it set to switch off when I switch presets, but I could come over here, re-engage it. You'll notice when I go to my next preset, I have that modulation switch off. I could have it stay on if I wanted. Another very cool thing I set up here is tap. So if I come over here and tap, you're going to notice that over here, the MIDI clock information is up on screen as well. So it's saying right now, it's sending MIDI clock of 119 BPM. And I can set that up on ToneX Pedal to receive that so that when I engage the delay, it's going to be following that tempo. And I also have another switch I used over here, and I can just long press. So that's another great feature. The customization on the Morningstar MIDI controllers is just incredible. So I've set this to long press. When I long press that end button, the tuner will engage. Now you can't see ToneX Pedal off screen, but you'll notice here now I'm playing. It's muted and I am tuning. Let's say I'm happy with that. Strum a chord, I long press this again. You'll notice that I get my sound back. So obviously, this is just one example of how it could be set up. I could set this up in a million different ways. I can bank up and I can toggle the page over if I so desire to have a whole other 8 switches at my disposal. So really cool stuff. And I think you can see why this will pair up beautifully with ToneX Pedal. The other thing I want to mention too is that I have my expression pedal here on the floor and I've calibrated that to work with one of the Omni ports back here. So basically now you can see the feedback on the screen of the position of my expression pedal. And what I've set this up to do is to basically push the gain on ToneX. And we can set this for whatever we want it to control. But I have it so that at the 0 or the heel position, the gain is on 5 on the preset. But if I rock it forward, I can have that set all the way up to 9. Or anywhere in between. So it's a great way of adding other types of external control to our ToneX pedal also. All right, there you have it. What did you guys think? I wanted to keep that really short and concise. If you'd like me to do more deep dives into the editing possibilities to get this to talk to your different devices, I'm happy to do that as well. I have done videos in the past, as I mentioned, looking at the incredible Morningstar editor for their MIDI controllers, and they're constantly upgrading the features on those, and they've really added in some things that make life a lot easier. So I'm happy to do some of those videos too, if you'd like to see them. But for now, I hope that gives you an idea of what you're dealing with the MC8 Pro. And I hope that that's something that you could integrate into your pedal board and utilize with your ToneX pedal or maybe even your HX Stomp. So thanks so much for tuning in. I'll have a link below, not only to the tone models you heard today from my website, but also to the Morningstar MC8 Pro, where you can order one of your own and start having some fun integrating that into your system if it's something you're inclined towards. So thanks so much for tuning in. Please like the video, share it with anybody you think would get some use or enjoyment out of watching it. Also, please subscribe to the channel, hit the little bell notification to get notified when I put new content out. I'll be back really soon with some more. Thanks again so much for sharing your time with me. I'm going to leave you with some music today, utilizing the tones you heard today in a full production. And as I said, the links are below for those tone models if you like what you hear. Enjoy the music on the way out. Talk very soon.